Let me record it. My name is Chris Reid. Whether you realize it or not, you joined the Financial Business Overview. And I'm just going to get right into it. A lot of people have their own perception and idea about what an insurance agent is and does, or a financial advisor. And at the end of the day, I always go back to my mantras because our company mantras is really the fabric and DNA of who we are and what we actually do. We get paid a lot of money to solve problems, right? So our mantras are: we help a lot of people, we create life-changing wealth, and we get better every day. We've been in business 15 years, over 130,000 public employees helped. We've helped over 35,000 small businesses served. We're just getting started. You can see these fancy awards up there. I don't know what half of them are, but it just means I think we're doing a pretty good job, right? A little bit about myself. This is me, and this is my beautiful family. They certainly make me look good. But I do think I'm not one to like talk about myself. Don't get me wrong, but I do think it's important to provide some context to who the heck you are listening to. In this day and age, there tends to be a lot of armchair quarterbacks, especially in our industry. But I am a guy I've been in this industry since I was 17 years old. I'm 42 years old now. I'd like to say that I've seen it all and done it all. I'm sure I probably haven't. But I want to share just a quick few minutes about myself. This picture and this picture was so that receptionist desk was where I started in this industry. I literally started answering phones. I'm one of those guys that started from the bottom and has worked his way up. That picture down there was about 14 years later, when I was the director of agency management at the insurance brokerage I worked for. Had a very cush job, making a couple $100,000 a year. Maybe from societal standards, I was living the dream and life was good, but it wasn't ultimately what I wanted. I've got this kind of quote that stays with me that a guy by the name of Bedros Keuilian says, which is average is the enemy. And at my former job, even though I was in a performance-based position, I was getting paid as a W-2 employee, and I was kind of pretty much tenured, right? It didn't matter whether I showed up in a given day or not, and it didn't matter how well or how poorly I did. I was still getting paid the same, and that just ultimately, with my personality and my competitiveness, that just wasn't what I wanted anymore. It wasn't for me. And so I made the leap into entrepreneurship and business ownership through Appreciation Financial. And oh gosh darn it, hold on, letting more people in. And I'll fast forward to here because ultimately this is what matters. And please don't take this as egotistical, but I want you to know who you're talking to. This is me. This is my name. And that was my cash flow for last year. 7 figures, right? Some people might think that's absolutely incredible and awesome. I think it's pretty cool. But by no means do I feel like I've arrived. But I like to think that I'm obviously on the right track and doing things well. And I really look at these numbers as a byproduct for the value that my agency, my team, and I've been able to provide to the people that we serve. The other cool thing about this, let me back up here, is you see this picture of this lady right here. These two things are really important, guys. As I'll get into this, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I want to make a ton of money, but I also want to make an impact and feel fulfilled when I put my head on the pillow to go to bed each and every day. Okay. And this was the very first client that we helped at Appreciation Financial. Her name was Po Fong, 74-year-old daycare lady at a continuation school. And when I met her, and this is just kind of how our industry is, kind of like why I like telling this story. Met her not knowing what to do other than, okay, I'm here to help. I'm here to figure things out. And when she told me that she tried to retire from the state of California 4 years ago and was denied, I was like, well, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I've never heard of an employer or a state say, no, you are now not allowed to quit and retire on me. So I was like, I knew something was up. And what did I do? Well, we went and figured it out. I called the state pension system, and make a long story short, the lady filled out her retirement paperwork incorrectly 4 years ago. So she literally worked for 4 years, not on her own accord, but because she just didn't know any different. And it took a visit from us to figure these things out. And I'm not joking, within a couple months after we got the paperwork figured out and all that fun stuff, we literally were able to get her retired on the spot. And that hit me right in the head. And I'm like, man, that's freaking awesome, right? Like to actually see the tangible effects of the work that we're doing is pretty badass if you ask me. And then the next one, I don't know if you can see the email. I know it's kind of a little fuzzy. I'll work on my PowerPoint skills later, but just take my word for it. That was another teacher I helped about 6 months into our business. Her name was Anna. She was a Spanish teacher. And when I met her, she was like, it was actually a very stressful situation for herself because she's like, I've been teaching for 18 years. I have no clue when I'm going to retire. I'm putting money into this retirement plan. I don't know anything about it. My daughter lives with me. Her daughter just had a child, so she's taking care of multiple people. And she's like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to work till the day I die. And again, long story short, that's not the case. And oftentimes it comes down to education and just actually giving a crap and helping people. And after I met with her, I got her pension all dialed in. She was in a terrible 403b supplemental retirement plan. We were able to transfer that over into a better, more productive product. Eliminated a bunch of insurance policies and expenses that weren't helping her. Got her enrolled in her own living benefit life insurance policy. And at the end of the day, she knew exactly when she was going to retire, and she knew exactly what she needed to do. And my point in telling you this, guys, and especially early on in this presentation, because I'd like to think we all want to make an impact and make a difference in this world, right? And that email was from her basically thanking me. She said, wow, that sounds great. It feels good to have a path being cleared for my retirement, to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and to know that I'm not going to have to work till I drop dead. LOL. She said, thank you so much for your help and time. I had a blast talking to you and Julie. Julie was a trainee that I was training. And then what I highlighted in her email is it was a win-win kind of day. Now, I don't claim to be the greatest insurance agent or financial advisor on the planet, but in 14 years, so up to that time, I'd been in the business for 14 years. And that was the first time I've ever gotten a thank you like that, where a client told me, man, this felt like a win-win kind of day. And I made thousands of dollars helping her, and I felt good about it. I knew I left her in a much better place than when I found her. But like to have it reciprocated back, again, it just hit me right between the eyes. I'm like, okay, like this is where I need to be. This is awesome, right? Like we're actually making a difference. And you know what? When you can make a ton of money and make a difference, that's kind of stuff I'm talking about. So that's me. That's the story. Those are some of my whys and reasons for getting into the business. I'm going to talk about this more when I get into this presentation, and when it talks about and when I want to talk to people about our company, I oftentimes want to ask you guys questions to maybe get you to think differently, because it took me 14 years to think differently. How many of you are familiar with the cash flow quadrant? You can either raise your hand or type it in the chat like, yep, I've heard of it. Yep, I'm familiar with it, right? Here's the deal. 95% of our industry is in that left quadrant. They're either an employee or they're self-employed, okay? Self-employed, nothing wrong with that. Lived in that world for 14 years. You name the lead program, I did it, but I was ultimately still trading time for money. And every single year I woke up on January 1, the score was 0-0, and I'd go back out there again to hunt what I kill. And again, when I was younger, when I could work 60, 70, 80 hours a week, when I didn't have kids and other obligations and stuff like that, sure. Like it was great. I'm grateful for it. But you know what? Like, I'll give you a good example. I'm leaving in a week to go to my son's travel ball tournament in Arizona from Wednesday night to Saturday or Sunday. And then from Sunday, I'm flying to Hawaii to celebrate my buddy John Becker's 50th birthday. He works with us. He's been working with us for 10 years. And my point in telling you this is, if I was self-employed, and maybe we've all been there, maybe this resonates with you or not, On day like 4 or 5, I'm starting to get stressed out about how much money I'm spending on vacation and the fact that no money's coming in, right? Or, a month ago when I got this flu that's been going around everywhere and I literally couldn't get out of bed for like 4 or 5 days, right? I'd be stressed out about the fact that I'm not working, okay? When you own a business, you own a system. And when you own a business and a system, you earn money whether you're working or not, right? And I think that provides an important level and layer of consistency and in security in what could be a very unsecure and inconsistent world, right? But why do only like 5% of the people in our space actually own businesses and business owners? And I'm going to get into it because I really believe that the industry is programmed to turn people into just salespeople and self-employed people. And I think there's some reasons around that. So I'm going to talk about that a little more as we go. So the industry wants to make you think that there's really just two ways to go about it, okay? Two ways to get into this industry. Now, this is a trivia question for you all, but does anybody know who the guy on the right is? Type it in the chat. Maybe the people over 45 know. I'm probably pretty sure people 35 and younger probably don't know. Ned, yes. All right, Mike, appreciate it. So this is Ned Flanders. I think Flanders from Groundhog Day, right? And if you've ever watched this movie, Ned Flanders is the most annoying salesperson, most annoying insurance person on the planet. Why? Because his business model and his prospecting model is talking to every single person he is able to latch eyes on and talk to on the street, in the grocery store, the phone, you name it, right? And a big part of this industry, like that's their business plan, right? Like when I went and interviewed with New York Life when I was like 22, I at least had some like smarts to know that like, okay, there's nothing wrong with like marketing and talking to my friends and family about what I'm passionate about, especially if it's important. But I don't know about you, like nobody wants to be that guy and nobody wants to be that gal. And mind you, I've sold insurance to damn near every single family member and friend that I have, insurance or retirement plans. But I did it on my own accord, right? And I did it when they approached me, not the other way around. And furthermore, let's just be honest. Unless you're blessed to have a massive warm market of friends and family that are going to keep you busy, like that's a business plan that's going to last about 4 to 5 months. And then from there, you're left to your own devices to do as you please. Okay. And then you got the other route of like the independent route, right? And they're gonna, they're gonna sell you on lead programs and have you invest all this money. And guess what? I've done them all. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there's good lead programs out there. There's bad lead programs out there. They're expensive. They cost money. But again, they turn you into a transactional salesperson because it's all about buying the lead, calling the lead, setting the lead, driving out and seeing the lead, closing the lead, and then doing it again and again and again, right? And at the end of the day, if you're reliant upon a lead program, or if you're reliant upon an upline that is providing you leads, are you really in control of your business? Especially if your business is especially if your family and livelihood is dependent on that business. And that always bothered me. And I kind of related to that analogy, right? Like you give a man a fish, give a man or a woman a fish, they feed for a day. Teach a man to fish, and they'll feed for a lifetime. But what if I could show you, if I could teach you not only how to fish in this industry, but fish out of a stock pond of fish that are hungry for your help, you're going to flourish for a lifetime. And that's what we're going to talk about for a few minutes. So not trivia time. I'm gonna play a little mind game on you all. You all are on here for a reason, which tells me that you probably have goals and dreams and aspirations that you want to achieve for yourself and your family. And if you're on here, you're probably not on track to do that, or else you wouldn't be wasting your time listening to this knucklehead talk to you for the next 45 minutes on your Thursday evening, right? So we're all here for a reason. But my guess is that whatever those dreams and goals and aspirations are, they require the one thing, actually the two things that I believe are most important in this world that our business provides. And that is freedom. And it comes in the form of time and financial freedom. Whatever your goals and dreams and aspirations are, they will require some form of time and financial freedom. And I don't know about you, maybe, at least to my knowledge, there's really only two ways to create time and financial freedom: starting a business for yourself, or maybe you're that lucky person that has like rich Uncle Ted who's going to leave you a big inheritance, and that's gonna give you what you need. Which, for the 1%, more power to you, super awesome. But for the rest of us, let's talk about starting businesses. So here's our value proposition and really our commitment to this partnership, because that's how I look at this. I look at this like a partnership. We're going to talk about Appreciation Financial. I'm going to talk to you about what we do and all that fun stuff. But I've really boiled down, like, what does it take to create? A lot of you probably saw the ad that my team posted on Instagram or Facebook or something like that. And I talk about, hey, if you're not making at least 250 grand a year residually in the insurance and financial service space, let's talk, right? And so, like, what does it take to create that type of income and lifestyle and business? And for me, I think it boils down to five things. And I'm going to kind of go in a little bit of a reverse order. Number two, I'm going to start with a product and service that is actually valuable, that people want and need, right? I think that is a given, right? Number three is a system to get in front of those people that want and need our help. That's where, in large part, our industry falls short. Number four, training, support, and mentorship. So when I bring somebody on to the team or within our company, I make sure, like 99% of the time, I match them up with somebody who I match them up with a field leader in their area that's already doing six figures, multiple six figures, or seven figures in this business. Because we can learn from having great training and support and webinars and Zooms and stuff like that, but we are going to learn 10 times faster and more efficiently when we're actually out in the field doing it with somebody who's already doing it at an elite level, right? That is the fastest and most efficient way to learn. And I don't know about you all, I don't have a whole lot of time to sit around on webinars and Zooms for hours and hours and hours. Let's go out there and figure it out together, right? And then number five, back office operations, technology, infrastructure, all the boring stuff, right? Like, in my opinion, with what Appreciation offers, which are with our back office, our commission system, our CRM, training, learning management systems, all that fun stuff. No, but outside of some marketing expenses, which I'll get into, which is fairly nominal, nobody needs to spend an extra dime on their business until they're maybe making 15, 20 grand a month. And then it's time to maybe outsource and delegate that, $12 to $15 an hour work. Okay. And then number one, because I went through 2, 3, 4, and 5, professional and personal development. So when I got into this business, I actually had I'll admit it, a fairly big ego. I thought I was a lot more mentally tough and talented and skillful than I really was. And thank God I had partners, and thank God I had support, because going into business for yourself is probably one of the biggest battles you're ever going to battle, if you haven't done that already. It's hard for a reason. And if you don't have a support network, and if you don't have mentorship from people that were in your shoes, it's going to make it's going to make it for a long road. Not to say that it's not impossible, probably take a lot longer, right? Like, it took me 14 years to figure it out. And if I can help you guys, avoid those mistakes and get there a lot sooner, then that's what I'm here for, right? But make no mistake about it, this is, being a successful entrepreneur and business owner, it's an inside job. It's an inside job. And we actually have an in-house professional development coach that works with everybody that comes aboard our company, because we care that much about it. So if you're turned off from that kind of stuff, I promise you right now, probably not the company for you, or at the very least, it's going to be very uncomfortable working with us, because we're going to hold you accountable, because we care. And ultimately, you need it, no different than I need it. All right. So what do we actually do? Let's get into that real quick. So we serve multiple markets. the bulk of what we do is within the K through 12 public school system. So we work all over the country through third-party contract relationships, helping teachers and staff with their pension, their retirement, which we utilize indexed annuities for. We also have our own registered investment advisory service for any of you that have advisory licenses, which I'll talk about in a second. Life insurance and also debt. Why the schools? Well, a really simple reason why. Because in areas where we have third-party contract relationships, which I'm assuming if you're on this call or saw one of our ads is one of those areas, it solves the biggest challenge in our industry, which is attracting qualified prospects. We just simply go to the schools where we have third-party contract relationships, build our relationships, run our marketing events, and generate appointments. And I'll give you a quick story and example of what that means. So I don't really go out in the field anymore. Haven't seen clients in years, but we opened an office in Dallas last May. So went out there and had a handful of people that were interested in the business. And we just took them out of the schools. Again, it's like we can sit here on Zoom and talk about stuff all day, but you know what? Rather than me tell you about it, how about I just show you, right? And so we had a luncheon set up at middle school and an elementary school, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday. In those two luncheons, we preset 73 appointments over the following 2 weeks to sit down with teachers and staff and go through their pension, their retirement, and insurance benefits. 72 or 3. Let's round down. Who cares? 72 appointments. If anybody can show me a more efficient and productive way to generate that amount of appointments in that little time, and mind you, it's all on school campus. So we're not driving all over Dallas and DFW meeting these people at their homes and stuff like that. We're meeting with these people in the mornings, their prep periods, their lunch periods, their after school appointments. So we're able to see that amount of people in a very short amount of time. Again, I'd like to say I've seen it all. I'm sure I haven't. But until somebody could show me a better, more efficient model to get in front of qualified people, I'm going to keep giving this presentation. And if somebody does show it to me, then let me know, and maybe we'll switch companies and do something different, but I have yet to see it. Okay? That is the whole value of the teacher market. And that's where obviously I'm a little bit biased because I've been here for 10 years. I'm a product of the model. But again, I've just seen it too many times where when we find the right person, we plug them in, they're coachable, they're accountable, they're hardworking. There's no doubt in my mind that person could get up to $15,000, $20,000 a month run rate in 12 to 18 months. No doubt, unequivocally, in those areas where we have those contract relationships, okay? The other market, we started working with business owners a couple of years ago, and we really just hit lightning in a bottle. We helped over 35,000 businesses obtain their ERC tax credit. And then once we had these tens of thousands of businesses, we're like, holy smokes, what else can we do to help these people? Because we realized that they don't have the time or aptitude or desire to seek out and find all of these different tax codes and strategies and stuff like that. And honestly, their CPAs aren't very equipped either. That's a whole nother story, but we literally built a whole business out of this in the last 2 years. And so we are still helping business owners now with a variety of different tax credit strategies that they may or may not be aware of. Some health and wellness preventative plans that are absolutely incredible that provide benefits back to the business owner and the employees, executive benefits, tax-free alternative premium finance. There's a lot of really cool things that we're doing in the small business market, okay? And then ultimately, it's just American families, right? Like if you look at, okay, so how cool is this? We serve teachers and staff and small business owners. Is that not like the heartbeat and backbone of this country? And not to get like super altruistic or anything, but I feel like I'm like kind of doing my little small part to make sure that they're taken care of and that heartbeat is pumping strong, right? Good people, they need help, and that's ultimately what we're passionate about. Okay. Again, I'm going to go back to cash flow numbers. Income, not ifcome. I love to poke fun at our industry because there's just a lot of smoke and mirrors and goofy stuff out here. It just is what it is. A lot of people talk about production. I was literally talking to an agency earlier today, and they told me how they did, $4 million of premium and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, well, how much money was deposited into your bank account at the end of the year? And then how much did you have to spend on leads? And then how much chargebacks did you have? And right? When I first joined depreciation, it was actually kind of uncomfortable that they published their cash flow numbers because I'm like, man, that's kind of personal. But I've actually really come to appreciate it because I appreciate freaking transparency in this industry, right? And all these big numbers that you see of the money people have made, that's just a really good mile marker. If we're all being honest, like we are in a results only work environment. And the people that are making the most money, that's just an indication that they are able to provide value. They're able to provide more value to more people than their neighbor. That's all that means, right? So I like publishing this because I like being transparent about it. And I'm assuming you're all here because y'all want to make a ton of money. And hopefully y'all want to make a ton of money doing things the right way, helping people. Well, you come to the right home. So there's a variety of different career paths at appreciation. Okay. So there's the agent route, there's the advisor route, the builder route, small business, affiliate, stuff like that. So I'm going to go through these in detail. So the agent route, well, I just kind of talked about it, right? Like we're building books of businesses inside of the K-12 public schools using fixed indexed annuities, living benefit life insurance. The reason we do for those of you that are licensed, this will resonate with you. If you're unlicensed, it'll kind of be a little Spanglish, but it's worth mentioning to the licensed people. The reason we do so much annuity business is because inside of the schools, we don't have to wait for separation of service, or we don't have to wait for them to turn 59 and a half. We can do an in-service transfer through their employer, through their paycheck, as long as it's in the best interest of the client and it goes through suitability. Okay. But again, I don't know of a better market than the school market to be able to build a multiple six-figure business in no time. For those that want to take their agent and retirement and insurance skills to the next level, we own our own registered investment advisory company. Okay. And the company's name is Encompass More. So for people that want to build a whole nother source of residual income by charging a fee for managing assets under management, there's a way to do that as well through our RIA. And it's a phenomenal way to do it because at the end of the day, even if I meet with a client that's got 500 grand, I can't put all that money into annuities. I can put a portion of it, but I can utilize those other assets into a managed portfolio, and life is good. And we can charge a fee for managing those assets, which again is a whole nother way. The CEO of Encompass More, who I brought into the business about 13 years ago, who runs it now and is doing a phenomenal job, he proved the concept. He was adding $5 to $7 million a year of assets under management working in the schools. And now he's got a book of like 60 million or something like that on top of running his company. And just that 60 million is like, I don't know what it is, 3 or 4, 500 grand a year of residual money like clockwork, right? We are in the business of creating residual business. And then there's the builder's model. So for anybody that's interested in team building and leadership, which is really my forte, it's what I've been doing for the last, 15 years. Appreciation has the best builder's model, compensation model that I've ever honestly seen. And I'm going to talk about this. I created another slide that I'll get into in a little bit because I think the word recruiting sometimes it has a bad rap or a negative connotation with people. And I want to be very clear what we do at our company. Because again, I get it. There's companies in our industry that, if you've got a pulse and 2 eyes and have a license, they'll hire you. And it's kind of that old model of, throwing up spaghetti on the wall and some of it's going to stick and blah, 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 right? That's not our business and that's not what we're talking about. So I'll get into that in a little bit. And then small business, right? Like I just talked about what we do with small businesses. So for people that have, a network or happen to know a lot of small business owners, we've got some just massively innovative value add products and services that do nothing, that literally don't cost the business owner any money and provides them benefits, tax credits, kickbacks every single year after year. Pretty cool stuff. And then we've got the affiliate opportunity. So for people that maybe aren't licensed or aren't looking into this full time or whatever, they could be a referral source. We actually work with some influencers because they're able to leverage their network for the benefit of their network. Like Brad Lee, who's a pretty good influencer, I guess. He has a YouTube channel and podcast and all that fun stuff. He advertised the ERC tax credit to his following, and in 90 days he made $1 million. 90 days made $1 million by providing value to his audience, which was pretty cool. Okay. So those are like the 5 ways that people could ultimately build different businesses with our company. Now I want to get into like what the actual recruiting and team building aspect is, because everybody has their own interpretation of it. And I want to tell you why we do it and why it's important, right? Well, why it's important. Let's take Dallas, for example. In DFW, specifically to the school market, there's 4,500 schools. We could fit, I don't know, 15 appreciation financials inside of DFW and probably still not even scratch the surface. So our recruiting and team building process is really simple, and it's a 5-step process. I do it and I learn to do it well. Then I do it and somebody's with me. And then that person does it and then I'm with them. And then they do it to prove it to themselves. And then lastly, they do it and somebody is with them. Okay. And not breaking down into, this isn't a Zoom to go deep into things, but like an override is the result of imparting your skills, wisdom, support, and leadership to the next person whose shoes you used to be in. That's literally how I look at it. And now that you, in your own right, are successful and proficient and have developed skills and abilities to be successful in this business, you are most equipped to help that person. And that is our model and simple process and step of this. And no different than, I was just talking to Dimitri, who I brought into the business 6 years ago. He applied to our ad on accident. He was looking for healthcare management jobs, even though he hated the healthcare industry. And we convinced him to come in, just to come in. And long story long, in a period of 6 years, he's completely changed his life. He got married. He has a home. Last year, he made $947,000. He made more money last year than he did in like the prior 7 years at his healthcare job. Right? Like that's the impact and value of getting passionate about building teams and finding good people that need help. Okay. So above and beyond what we do and how we do it, and we earn money through helping people, commissions and stuff like that. On top of commissions and how we earn money, appreciation actually has an activity incentive plan and a builder's incentive plan. So appreciation will actually pay the new agent for the revenue generating activities they should already be doing while they're building up their book of business. Because we know, as with any bit, like let's put our business hats on for a minute. Building a business is hard enough, right? But thank God we're not like in the business of I worked with a guy not long ago who opened a Quiznos store, sandwich store, right? He had to like go find an office, hire staff, had to pay 50 grand to the Quiznos. What do you call it? The Quiznos royalty or whatever the word is. All this kind of money, right? Like, how cool is it in our industry where we got to spend a couple $100 to get an insurance license, maybe a couple $100 or something like that on like, sandwiches for a luncheon or coffee and stuff to sponsor a staff meeting and stuff like that. But like, how cool is it to be able to have a license, be able to, to be able to print money day one and have moderately to no expenses getting into this business. But make no mistake about it, this is a business. It's not a get rich quick thing, but it's also not a get rich slow thing. It's a get rich pretty quick, in my opinion, depending on how hard somebody wants to hit it. Okay. But this activity incentive plan is there to help you get through the first couple months, because it's a realistic way where somebody could put an extra $250, $500 a week into their pocket by doing the revenue generating activities they should already be doing. Okay. And then we have a builder's incentive plan for people that are interested in growing a team and building a team. And it's a way to earn more on top of the overrides on your team by doing, again, leadership and management activities that you should already be doing anyways. And for people that are interested and motivated to grow the appreciation financial footprint, appreciation will give people up to $10,000 to open an office and expand. Pretty freaking cool. Okay. What are the next steps? Well, somebody thought highly of you enough to invite you to this. So I would suggest getting back out in touch with them. Okay. But above and beyond that, to get registered at appreciation, it does cost a couple $100, right? So $250 to join. That takes care of your Google Suite, your email, your CRM, your contracting, onboarding, all that fun stuff. And then for AF Connect, which is the part-time, it's just $100. Again, that takes care, you get a replicated website for the various products and services and all that fun jazz. Okay. From there, you're going to meet with your leadership to identify the market and to actually create a business plan. So what am I going to do? Where am I going to work? What schools are open? What districts are there? How's it? When does training start? Right? Like we get all that stuff all figured out. And then in my opinion, we just focus on that activity incentive plan or business incentive plan, because I know that's going to put money into my pocket week one, but I also know that it's going to keep me focused on the things I need to be focused on anyways to start building up my pipeline. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. I went a little long, but guys, that's really kind of the end of my presentation. And I hope this was helpful. I'm happy to open it up for any Q&A. If anybody has any questions, I was kind of trying to monitor the chat, but if anybody has questions, type it in now, or feel free to unmute yourself. Happy to stay on here for a few more minutes. And if not, we can get back to our daily life and get ripping.
I have a quick question, Chris. This is Mike.
Yes, sir.
So, the example you gave about the Texas location with 70 appointments after just a couple meetings, where 70 people signed up. So is that an area where somebody had already been working and built the reputation of the company that,
No, not at all. That was just us going to schools in Dallas and setting up a marketing event.
I mean, you set up a marketing event, then is that off the school property?
No, we do a luncheon right there in the break room where the teachers have lunch.
Isn't that pretty hard to get through the school board, to get in there and talk to them? Or how does that happen?
Yeah, for people that don't know what they're doing, sure, yeah. or for people that aren't contracted to actually do it, yeah. Yeah, if you don't have a contract relationship and you walk into a district, you're going to kindly get escorted off campus just as quickly as you got on.
Right. I mean, I know there are a few companies that have built their reputations on working with educators. So that, and I'm not familiar with your company. I love everything. Great presentation.
Yeah.
Great info, but before I just toss $250 at it, and I just have a few questions. So where do I go with those?
Where are you located, Mike?
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha. Okay. Yeah. So just shoot me an email.
Okay.
Here, I'll put my email into chat, and then we can set up another time to talk for sure.
Sounds great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, you bet.
I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. Is there someone in Cincinnati, Ohio already?
Yeah, there is. Actually, Keith Spivey has been there for 9 years. We got a lot of opportunity in Cincinnati. He's got phenomenal relationships with districts all over the place.
I remember that name, so I would like to do whatever I could to get started on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to refer you to him.
Please do.
Yeah, so do me a favor, guys. I just posted, I should have been more prepared for this, but I just posted my email in the chat. Shoot me an email, and then I'll set up a time to talk, or I'll bridge an introduction with whoever the local leadership is out in your area. Happy to make that happen. But it's Reid@appreciationfinancial.com. Somebody, can you put up the last slide again? Which slide were you referring to? I'm sorry, there's a lot of slides.
It was the very last slide you had before you came on, before you left the presentation.
This one?
Got it. Yes, that one. Thank you very much.
Okay, sure. Did you have any questions about it?
I just missed it because I got distracted. But how about Pittsburgh? Is there availability in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, David Gomkoto has been in Pittsburgh for 7 years, knows it well, and we have a relationship with Pittsburgh Unified School District.
Thank you very much. I'll email you.
Yeah, you bet, man. And then somebody asked, could I get a recording of this presentation? Yes, I did record it. Shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to get you I'll be happy to shoot you out the recording. Any other questions? Good. All right, awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you all taking time out of your evening on a Thursday to be with me. I hope this was informative. I hope it fired you up.
Are y'all hiring in Texas, you said?
I'm sorry?
Y'all are hiring in Texas?
We are, yeah. What part of Texas?
Dallas? I'm like 30 minutes from Dallas.
Yeah, we got an office in Arlington.
In Arlington?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So then do y'all do like East Texas as well?
We do, yeah.
Or just Madera?
Texas is a really great state for us. I mean, we pretty much have district access in darn near every nook and cranny of the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said it's 250?
That's correct.
What if we're already signed with a company?
What if you already signed with who?
With a company, like my license, my insurance license is with Alliance.
Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, it just depends on what company. It just depends on what carriers you're contracted with.
All of them. A lot of them.
Yeah. Well, Kim, shoot me an email and we'll talk about it. There's a couple of variables that go into that. There's a couple of variables that go into that, but I'll be happy to talk to you about it.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely. All right. I think we're good. Awesome. Well, again, like I said, reach back out to whoever referred you here. Know this, I'll leave you with this. Right now, in my opinion, this is probably the most exciting time to be in the insurance and financial service business. When things are crazy in the world and in the economy, that's when we shine. Yes, Stefan, we have Thomas Woods is in Bakersfield. The guy made $1 million last year. He knows what he's doing. I'm happy to refer you to him. Charlie, absolutely. We literally just opened an office in Phoenix. It's a beautiful office. In fact, our CEO resides out of that office about half the time. But we are actually in Phoenix, Arizona, we got a couple different opportunities. You want to visit the CEO? Well, you got to do some production. You got to make some things happen to get that meeting first. But what I can have you do is I can have you visit Ashley. We actually have a couple opportunities there. We have an in-house W-2 opportunity, which is W-2 plus commissions and stuff like that. And then we have the traditional commission-based opportunity. Phoenix is interesting though, because we've opened up districts, but we've actually developed some pretty darn good relationships with a couple of the mayors and the cities there. So that's literally why we just opened an office a couple months ago, because we're like, man, this opportunity is going to be big. So definitely send me an email and we'll talk, and I'm happy to connect you with them. Just shoot me an email, Charlie. Heck, I'll be in Phoenix in a week, but I ain't gonna be working. I'm gonna be watching baseball for 4 days. So
That's awesome.
basking in the 75-degree weather. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, anything else? We good to go?
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate your time today.
Lovely. Yeah, you bet, man. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Look forward to working with you guys. Take care.